Just in case nobody's ever told you, when somebody calls you sensitive or says you're being oversensitive, when they are treating you badly or disrespecting you, that's manipulation.
Exactly. Calling someone too sensitive is often manipulation, not honesty. It's a way to dismiss your feelings instead of taking responsibility. Strong women don't apologize for emotional awareness. They pay attention to it.
They may be too sensitive to you being sensitive. So it's a self-projection. A lot of people get uncomfortable with emotions that they were never taught how to feel, because it's not about not feeling negative emotions. It's about how to.
If people ever tell you you're too sensitive or emotional, don't change. They're not able to hold your feelings. The right people will want to hear how you feel, will hold that space and appreciate it. If they can't be what you need, let that connection go. You deserve to be your true self and loved for it. My name's Aaron and I'm a psychology student and aspiring clinical therapist. Follow to discover more about yourself.
What to say when somebody tells you you're too sensitive. Number one, accept it and stand your ground.
Accept it when someone says you're sensitive and stand your ground. Sensitivity is awareness, not weakness. Strong women don't shrink to make others comfortable. They stay rooted in who they are.
Maybe I am, but that doesn't validate your feelings any more than it does mine. What you're saying is my feelings are just as important as yours. You don't get to tell me what hurts. And number three, ignore it. Don't take it personally. If somebody says you're being too sensitive, just say, well, thank you, and keep on talking as if they just gave you a compliment. Because in many ways, it really is. So try that and follow me.
This is an awesome comment from Bramar. She said, girl, I had a guy just disrespect me yesterday and then said it's just his personality and I'm being too sensitive. I said, bye, boy. Awesome. All right, ladies, listen. People that are verbally and emotionally abusive will normally say that you're being too sensitive. If you say, hey, like, don't talk to me in that tone of voice, if you set up any kind of a boundary and stick up for yourself, they will excuse it as you being too sensitive. Total bullshit. This woman did the right thing, and she was commenting to another woman that said a similar thing. Ladies, don't tolerate this from men. If a guy's verbally and emotionally abusive, do exactly what Bramar Lowe here did. Get rid of him. Do yourself a big favor. Get rid of him. All right? If you like this video, please like and subscribe. I'm here to help you ladies meet great men, high-quality men that are kind, compassionate, intelligent, confident, sexy. All right? Not these jerks. All right? Have a great day. Bye.
What does it mean when a man says that you are too sensitive? Typically, this means a couple of things. One, it means I don't want to deal with your feelings right now. So they shift the focus from how they made you feel to how you're responding. It's deflection, your emotions become the problem and not the behavior. Two, I want to keep doing this without consequences. Because if your feelings are framed as unreasonable, then I don't have to take responsibility or change my actions. Three, your reactions make them uncomfortable. So instead of sitting with it, they rather just dismiss it. Four, you might just really be sensitive at times. Because as women, we tend to be sensitive, especially if we have like a sore spot or a trigger there. We can be overly sensitive sometimes. So a better way to get a point across how you're feeling is the person don't necessarily have to agree with how you feel, but they do have to respect how you feel, because respect should be mutual in a healthy relationship. I hope this helps.
He says you're too emotional and he doesn't understand what you're saying, but the reality is he's actually lying.
When he says you're too emotional, he's often lying to shift the blame. It's easier to label your feelings than to face the truth. Strong women trust their emotions, their signals, not flaws.
Agree with everything he wants, you make perfect sense. The second you have a disagreement, or your perspective is just a little bit better than his, and he realizes, oh, I am wrong. That's when he brings out the I don't know what you're saying conversation. Here's the thing. If he really doesn't understand you, why doesn't he just ask more questions? Hey, babe, I really don't get this. Like, can you explain that to me a little bit better? Maybe I'm having trouble comprehending that, but I would love to talk about this a little bit deeper. Or even try asking this question. How do you see it? But no, he jumps straight to invalidation. It doesn't make no sense. You're just being emotional. Something wrong with you. That's a narcissistic, manipulative side. Instead of seeking to understand and learn from you, it's avoiding the uncomfortable truth. Sounds a lot like pride and ego.
If a man ever says to you, you're too sensitive, what he's actually doing is he's invalidating your feelings.
If a man says you're too sensitive, he's invalidating your feelings. It's a way to silence you instead of listening. Strong women don't argue for their emotions. They honor them and walk away if needed.
Remember that when a man tells you you're too sensitive, that maybe it has nothing to do with you. And your response to that is, I want you to say to him, my feelings are my feelings and they're valid. And what I need from you is to listen to them and let me know that you care, because you are amazing and deserve a great man. And if you want a no-nonsense approach, no games, no manipulation on how to create epic love, go ahead in the bio, click on the picture, or go in the description. I've got a link there for a free masterclass on how to create epic love.
Are you being told you're too sensitive? I'm going to explain why this phrase is gaslighting. Don't worry, it'll be short and sweet. At the root of gaslighting is denial. Someone is denying your subjective reality. It's an intentional twisting of the truth to avoid accountability. So when someone calls you too sensitive after you have called them out for something they said or did that hurt your feelings, they're denying your subjective experience and undermining your sense of reality. Because if they can convince you that their behavior is normal and that you're overreacting, then they can continue the said behavior. They're essentially pointing the finger at you, saying you're the problem, not me. Just because you believe your behaviors and words aren't hurtful doesn't mean you're right. So if somebody shares something that you said or did hurt them, and your response is, well, I hadn't considered that to be hurtful, but now that I know it's hurtful, I will stop doing it. And then you actually stop doing it, that's called taking accountability. But if instead you say, don't be so dramatic, you're so sensitive, then you're trying to make them accountable for your bad behavior. You're shifting blame, victim blaming, and that is gaslighting. It's pretty fucking simple.
The best advice I could give anybody is to stay away from people that say you're too sensitive. That's the best. That right there, out of all the advice I give y'all, that one right there, stay away from people like that. Reason being is because a lot of times when somebody say you too sensitive, when are they telling you this? Most likely when you're speaking about your feelings. Most likely when you're saying something to them that they don't want to hear, or you're addressing them about something they done did to you. And anybody that cares about you will never say that you're too sensitive about what you thinking, about how you feel. Okay, nobody that cares about you is going to label you as too sensitive simply because you care too much. I would never tell somebody they're too sensitive because they are showing me their feelings. Too sensitive just basically means you care too much, you're addressing too much, you're saying too much, and you are feeling too much. I would prefer for you to shut the hell up, not care too much about what I'm doing to you, and don't speak on shit that I'm doing to you. Just because they walk around like robots and doing whatever they want to do to people and then hide their feelings doesn't mean there's something wrong with you addressing your feelings and talking about them like an adult and addressing bullshit when you see it. So anybody that's telling you too sensitive, get away from their ass, period.
Hi everybody, Nicole Coleman, your Heyoka empath. I just wanted to talk to you about something very, very important that I'm noticing in the trends. And as those that know me as a Heyoka empath, I read energies which tell me what's happening, the undercurrents of what's going on, but nobody sees what's going on, but it's communicated to me, and so I want to give it to you. I talk and I specialize in masculine energy and feminine energies, namely the women who are way overly dominant in their masculine energy. And if you are one of those women, you will be struggling in your life. You will be depressed, you will be depleted, you will be drained, you will have the same patterns, and you won't know which way to turn. And so when I speak about feminine energies and how feminine energy is very free to cry, a lot of the masculine energy women will say to me, well, no, I cry all the time. And yes, you do. But you cry when someone gives you a gift. You cry when someone gives you a compliment. You cry when someone wants to do something good for you and doesn't ask back. You cry when you see an animal, love another animal. You cry when you see nature. You cry at the beauty of life because you don't feel you're entitled to it. So when life rewards you with something special like that, you have resistance to it, and you cry because the little girl inside doesn't feel she deserves that because she's not struggled. And why is that even more difficult today to deal with that whole ordeal? Because now the latest thing from guys are, Don't be sensitive. You're too sensitive. Why are they saying that? Because you see, if you are high energy, masculine energy, which is the majority of the population, it'll be all the strong so-called women, but you're not strong because you hold in pain. How's that strong? How's that strong? You're too scared to let go of your pain and to cry when you are in pain. You cry at the beauty of life. You cry when someone gives to you. You cry because you don't really feel you deserve. But masculine energy women also will, by default, put men into their feminine energy. So this has gone on for the last 10, 15 years or so. That's why I wrote a book about it called The Wisdom of the Penis, SOS Manual. It's on Amazon.ca. I seriously, go get it. Only if you want to learn. But the reason why the guys are saying you're too sensitive is because it's in competition with their feminine energy, which is overly sensitive. That's why they're saying that to you now. It's to keep you in your masculine energy, not feel you have a right to be sensitive.
When someone calls you too sensitive, it's probably them self-projecting their emotions on you. Because if you have emotions and you're feeling sensitive and they're having a triggered reaction to that, it's because they're feeling sensitive to your sensitivity. So they may be too sensitive to you being sensitive. So it's a self-projection. A lot of people get uncomfortable with emotions that they were never taught how to feel, because it's not about not feeling negative emotions. It's about how to.
If people ever tell you you're too sensitive or emotional, don't change. They're not able to hold your feelings. The right people will want to hear how you feel, will hold that space and appreciate it. If they can't be what you need, let that connection go. You deserve to be your true self and loved for it. My name's Aaron and I'm a psychology student and aspiring clinical therapist. Follow to discover more about yourself.
Just in case nobody's ever told you, when somebody calls you sensitive or says you're being oversensitive, when they are treating you badly or disrespecting you, that's manipulation.
Having anxiety and being sensitive is so fucking embarrassing, because it's like, oh yeah, I am upset. Why, you ask? Because I actually just sensed in my made up sensory area that you were mad at me for no reason, and it made me feel bad.
This is a classic tactic to try to dismiss or diminish your feelings. And ultimately, it can happen for a couple of reasons. It can be because the coworker is aligned with the person who is mistreating you, so they don't want to be in their bad graces. The other reason is they may be afraid of them. They don't want to be targeted next. So instead, it's easier for them to just invalidate what you're saying and brush it off as you're being too sensitive. The truth is, you're not being too sensitive. You have the courage to speak up, and you're expressing something that you are experiencing that is wrong. And that should be something that people investigate and pay attention to and don't just dismiss.
When someone calls you too sensitive because they're uncomfortable with emotions, they're gaslighting you. Don't let someone deny your emotional experience. Your feelings aren't right or wrong. You're entitled to feel what you feel. You are responsible in reacting to those emotions in a way that doesn't harm others, though. Try not to identify as the emotion. So instead of saying, I am anxious, say, stop judging your emotions, and when you feel something, allow it to flow through you. Remember, you're just expanding your emotional range.
When a narcissist tells you that you're too sensitive or too dramatic, first of all, you're not. And this can be qualified as gaslighting. This is a manipulation tactic they use to silence you so you feel guilty, bringing up any issue you have with them, making you feel completely numb, like you can't bring up anything in the relationship. And it shifts the focus back on them instead of focusing on how you feel. There's different solutions for everybody, but just know that they're always going to invalidate your feelings. Narcissists don't change. Just say, yeah, you're right, and then think of an escape plan.